Join us as we explore what it takes to build an academy and a software business while living the Oracle life. Guys, welcome back to Oracle Life. Episode 15, Nogi rolling on the beaches. This episode, we are back. I was off for a little while, so this was recorded on, I believe, October 6th.
That would be nice, spending your time with your daughter on a...
And for those not living in Eastern Ontario, Canada, or Central Eastern, this time of the year, things can get dicey and the weather can change quite radically in the month of late September to October. And so we actually got this in on October 6th. The fact that we're actually rolling in t-shirts on a beach in Toronto is an incredible feat in itself. I've got a couple more videos to catch up on. I have episodes 16 and 17, and so if there's more content you're looking forward to, stay tuned. I'll have a couple more coming up within the next few weeks. I was kind of planning on this because I knew mid to late October things were going to slow down anyways. And I could use a couple of extra pieces of content to sort of help tide the gap, the content gap, as it were, until some more stuff comes along. So, I'm joined again by Zennon. Today we're in Nogi, as I mentioned to you. And again, I'm going for my usual sort of, I was in Z-Guard, now I'm sort of in a Delahiva, modified Delahiva, / earlier I was in in Butterfly. So what you just saw there was sort of like an inversion to through the back door for a semi-crab ride. It was kind of well done, except of course I didn't get anything out of it, but executionally it's a nice sort of maneuver to give you an option to for those that are less knowledgeable in jiu-jitsu. It gives you a good option to work from angles and spaces that you're not quite used to. You guys are not quite used to having, obviously, anyone sort of attack from an inverted guard through the legs and then to their back. So I love it. It's definitely more of an advanced move. I'm going to be the first to admit I'm not very good at it, and that I sort of only started playing that quote unquote game later half in my jiu-jitsu life. Much later, I'd say, not really into my brown black level, but a lot of the younger guys, you'll see them playing that game. It's definitely a young man's game, more of a recent phenomenon in jiu-jitsu. Yeah, so here I sort of got stuck in a classical jiu-jitsu lock position. Zennon is going for a Kimura, I believe, on my left arm. And I'm trying to protect it. There's different ways of protecting it. I might do a sort of gable grip around his core, around the center of his body.
I'm just going to pull you to the center, but just hold your grips.
I might protect it by stuffing that left hand back between my own legs right there. You kind of see what I did there? Yeah, so it's down there. I might actually put it on the inside of my left thigh to sort of prevent it from him, because what Zennon is going to try to do is try to yank it out. He might not be able to do it from that position just because he's a little bit in tight. I think for him to pull that off, he's going to have to create some space first, possibly with an inside left foot on the inside of my hip or knee, and then sort of bridge out and pop my arm out. But being cognizant of that, I think I prevented that. So instead, I'm moving up in my position. So one of the things you're trying to do in Jiu-Jitsu is, I'll keep mentioning this so that you understand what's happening in Jiu-Jitsu for those that are not familiar. You're sort of always trying to take away space. Space can be an enemy and it could be an ally, depending on how you use space. So if you're being offensive, you obviously need some space to execute maneuvers, but at the end of the day, you need to remove space to actually engage and execute your attacks. If you're on the defense, space is also good if you're trying to maintain distance and avoid engagement, but then that defeats the purpose of what we're trying to do here in Jiu-Jitsu. In a real fight situation, of course, you're possibly trying to disengage entirely and not confront at all, which is highly recommended. But in Jiu-Jitsu's case, the attacker, the defender, needs to also remove space in some situations so that they can actually create their strategies. And in some cases, it's hard to explain. In some cases, they need the space. So for example, here, let's talk about space. So I got an arm bar. That space between his arm and my crotch, essentially, that has to be minimized so that I can actually get the torque needed to finish the arm bar. If I'm Zennon and I'm in that situation, I'm looking for space, because the more space I have, the easier that I can get out. And the space ultimately reflects the fact that I don't have my hooks, my locks and my positioning in properly, and I won't be able to finish an arm bar. So that's a clear example of what I mean by space. Today's episode is brought to you in stunning 1080p. I think I may have actually shot this one at 120 hertz, hoping that I could get some slow frames in there, some slow-mo. So there you see I got my classic butterfly hook sweep in there. We went off mat, reset. Zennon is now playing half guard. So I'm using my left foot there to sort of push down on his right knee so I can get my foot to escape. And you see that I use the back of my heel to sort of jam it, wedge it in there. I'm actually sort of trying to get the right positioning. One of the things with here is as you attack the bottom, you obviously give your defender the view, the focus that you're doing that. So one of the strategies is actually to change their focus. So I instead focused on attacking his upper body, at which point immediately Zennon will have forgotten his lower body, and there you see I got my leg out. Positioning was a little bit high, so I was being mindful of not getting caught in Zennon's leg coming up and grabbing a hold of me at the top, but we ended up scrambling out. So one of the things that I would say for Zennon there is, what I tell my students is that if you're going to play a guard and you're finding yourself flat on your back, you may not be in the most opportune, sort of optimal position. As a general rule, you know, when you're flat on your back and your shoulders are touching, in wrestling that's bad, but in jiu-jitsu it's also quote-unquote bad because what it kind of translates to is that you're not being actively, what it means is you're not actively engaging some part of your other bodies from an active positioning. Do you know what I mean? So it kind of means that, it means you're pretty much just lying there. If you're lying there, well, not much is going to happen for you other than getting some rest, but you're effectively telling your opponent that they can take the offense and they can do the things that they want to do next. You're not actually controlling the situation. Of course, it's give and take, but for the most part, from a strategic standpoint in jiu-jitsu, it's you know, a heavy hand of blend of on the offense and defense in a dynamic fashion. But what I said was offense and defense. So if you're not doing any offense, then well, you're doing either nothing, neutral, or you're doing defense, and you're not winning if you're defending, right? You're not losing, of course, and that's definitely half the battle in martial arts. But from a sport perspective, or even martial art self-defense perspective, you do need to at some point get active. So there I took mount on Zennon. I've got both hooks in. I've got his arm across his face. I've done that purposely to take away power. When an individual has their elbows in tight along their sides, it's in their favor. If you take it away up and over their head, you take away all the power. It's just the way the structural dynamics of the physics of this works. So I'm not even sure how I got that submission there. This was a little while ago. So the way that sort of works, I mean, you may have heard, and I've said it before, that you keep your friends close, your enemies closer, and your elbows even closer. Usually I get a good couple of giggles out of class students when I mention that to them. And I think they understand it, right? They understand that, oh, okay, it's important. Keep your elbows in. But why? Why is it important to keep your elbows in? And it's something that sort of you gain through experience. But you have to put that mindset into people so that they have that to think about. Going back into my butterfly guard, Zennon is trying to stuff it by sort of clinching both of my knees together, which he's done in the past. But if you splay them wide, it's definitely a lot harder. You can see I got my left hook in there and I was able to roll Zennon. Then we went right off the mat. Today in Toronto, it's October the 19th actually, and it's rainy outside, overcast, and I'll tell you, I'm already missing the sunny beach here in Toronto, and merely 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so I'm really thankful that I got these times in on the mats when I did, on the beach when I did. I know not everyone could do that. I know I was talking to a lot of friends that were interested, students that were interested. People's schedules, locations, timing, money, all sort of things come into play. One of the things we talked about was if you couldn't afford the purple mats or any mats for that matter. My wife actually came up with this brilliant suggestion to use tarps, just your standard, regular, tough vinyl tarps that you use for camping. And it's a great idea. Unfortunately, none of my students took me up on the offer. Zennon is here trying to get past me to the guard. He's having some trouble with my long legs and spidery legs, and ultimately the hook there to get the switch, and I've taken his back. And he's trying to do a little trick that I showed him, where he's grabbed my head, but unfortunately I think he was too low to actually do anything with that. I mean, I feel for Zennon because he's 5 something, and he's dealing with a 6 foot guy, 60 pounds heavier. He's definitely got his challenges with him, but when you're dealing with, all these limbs, and relatively speaking, long limbs, it can be challenging, definitely. One of the things with Jiu-Jitsu is knowing how to match up your style and strategy to the person and body type that you're fighting. So that's not to say you can't beat a bigger, taller, heavier guy. In Jiu-Jitsu, we see the very opposite all the time, and that's what makes Jiu-Jitsu a brilliant martial art and a brilliant sport. But where the beautiful art comes in is the fact that you start developing the skill sets and the strategies to be able to modify your game in real time based on the body type that you're fighting. If you've been following along with OracleLife, you know that this is one of the moves that I've been sort of working on. You just saw. And failed. Zennon desperately trying to avoid the ass and face. It's one of the unfortunate consequences of Jiu-Jitsu. Not that anyone's trying to do it purposely, but it happens. Here you can see Zennon is clearly trying to avoid me from getting with that leg on top, but I couldn't have got the mount anyways because my left leg was over his over his torso. So he's actually got his legs wrapped around my legs, which is really beneficial to him. If Zennon can just reverse his positioning here, he's in deep. His head is tucked. Excuse me. His head is tucked in away, so I'm not sure exactly what his thinking is, what his strategy is. But if he got his head out, I'm guessing at some point he would be able to reverse it and try to get mount, but maybe he's seeing it from a different perspective down the bottom. I went for his leg there, but then I saw that as an opportunity to scramble and get out and reset into guard. Again, for those that are not familiar with Jiu-Jitsu, this is called the guard. The guy on the bottom got his legs wrapped around my torso and locked, typically on the back. This is a very neutral position. Some might say advantageous to the guy on the bottom because there's a lot of opportunities from there. From a mixed martial arts perspective, I'd say it still holds true, of course, minus the fact that you have to watch for headshots coming down, or even body shots for that matter. This is called the crossface. The arm is not actually going across the face, which sounds like it's a misnomer. The arm is, as you can see, going across the back of Zennon's head. What's actually going across his face is my shoulder. So as the shoulder comes down, the other nickname for that point in time is called the shoulder of justice. As that shoulder comes down across his jawline, it is quite painful. It's kind of like a nutcracker effect. You can sometimes even get a tap out right from that, but typically not. It's more painful than anything else. Usually the individual will just scramble out. And you sort of use it sometimes to just advance your positioning, right? If you want an arm out, a leg out, whatever, you sort of apply those techniques such as I just mentioned. So here I got my knee on belly. A lot of people on the advanced level are okay with giving up knee on belly. You know, brown belts and up, they're quite comfortable with that. On the lower belts, you'll see most guys will scramble and fight like hell to not allow that, because everything they've been taught up to that point is sort of like avoid the knee on belly. You can see there I use my left knee to jam it in to try to get remove that space. So here I'm going to try something different. What I did was I stepped over and I'm getting my leg through his side and into what's essentially a north-south reverse triangle. I didn't get it, obviously, but I'm not sure which episode I do get that in, but it didn't work on that particular instance.
Oh shit, you just gave me that one. As soon as I saw it, I was like, no way.
Check his fit, man. I think it's the lip.
It's just good. It'll stop it.
I think I got hit in the face there, and on the lip. Lip bust up.
Stop it and fight for a good video. Show the camera. Nothing.
There you go. They say it's the gentle art. I'm always curious about entomology. I love the origins of words and whatnot, and I want to know actually if jiu-jitsu is in fact the gentle art, or is it judo, or is it both? Because I've heard both references. I know jiu-jitsu, apparently the actual translation of it is ground fighting. There's shinjitsu, which is in Japanese for sword fighting. Ninjutsu, which is stealthily. I'm not sure what that is, but there's all kinds of jiu-jitsus. If you know sort of the actual meanings of these, feel free to comment in the comment section below, guys. Let me know. I don't know. I should know. I got a body triangle on Zennon high body triangle. 10th planet folks like to do this a lot. They like to work really high to go for really interesting submissions from the top like that. Some of the ones I've seen, the Death Orchard, which I forget the fellow's name, Nathan Orchard, has some pretty cool stuff from high top arm triangle slash compression submissions. I'm by no means proficient at any of the 10th planet stuff, but I do think they have a lot of validity, obviously, in the nogi world, especially in the nogi world. Looking for a global plata, I think, but Zennon gets out of it. Gogo plata is basically when you saw there, and I get my shin, I pull it right over from like a rubber guard on the top of his back, as you saw, and I get it right over his face and under his chin, and then you pull down on the back of his head to get a submission across his trachea. I've seen it happen a couple of times in competition. In MMA, Guyz brothers, I think, caught it on somebody. So yeah, it's definitely possible. Definitely with stringier, lankier people, it works really well. Here I'm going for a guillotine choke, and as you can see, his head is quite out. But I think he taps because he just didn't want to fight out of it. I don't think I particularly had a guillotine in there, as you could see. But I think I asked him later on, why did he submit? And there I'm asking him why he submitted. I think he just said that he just didn't want to fight it. anytime your neck's sort of getting cranked, it's never a good feeling. And when you're just rolling with buddies, you're sort of
hard, but if you
don't want to go life and death trying to fight out of stuff. You're thinking long-term gains versus short-term wins on a match. You want to stay healthy for the long term, right?
Okay.
But I don't know. No, I don't. You know, you think about shit afterwards sometimes.
Yeah.
Just a shout out to my buddies and brethren in the martial arts community, the wider martial arts community, in the jiu-jitsu community. I think a lot of the guys are under a lot of stress, as is most individuals at large. I think there's a lot of people that's under stress, regardless of martial arts or not. We're in modified stage 2, starting earlier this week or later last week, and what that means essentially is that, you know, gyms are closed. That includes jiu-jitsu academies. Restaurants are closed. It's not a good time. There's a lot of angry people everywhere.
What am I doing wrong?
There's mob gatherings to protest against governments. I'm not sure if that's the best use of the energy. I know people are upset. It's not a cabal movement to get us screwed and whatnot. It just doesn't serve any purpose, I think. Don't get me wrong. Hey, listen, I'm going to listen to anyone's ideas about anything about the government. We definitely have to hold them accountable. But honestly, guys, this is about not spreading the virus. And if I could only say one thing, it's to understand how exponential growth works. And the better you understand how exponential growth works, you'll understand what the health minister and all the other health experts and scientists are saying, which is the reason why we don't have masks, the reason why we're minimizing close contact, the 6 feet separation, is because we don't want the virus to spread, plain and simple. Because the way exponential growth works is that, in a nutshell, if an entire population is infected in, let's say, 30 days, and it's doubling. So day 1 it's like 1 person, day 2 is 2 persons, day 3 is 3 people. The question is, at what point does the entire, like half the entire population, get infected? If the full population is 30 days, it's not 15 days at 50%. It's actually day 29. So day 29, you think, oh damn, this is bad. But guess what? It's too late, because the next day it's 100%. And what makes things even more scarier is the fact that, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but even the low percentages, like the single digits, are way up there at day 22 or 23. It's only in the really latter half stages, like day 24, 25, 26, that you see the hockey stick curve happening. So it literally is something that people cannot see coming, because it'll happen really fast. And that's all it is, guys. You know, let's stop with the conspiracy theories. We have to buckle down and do our part to curb the virus. I don't want to make this a big virus episode, but so I'll stop there. I know a lot of people have issues with that message, so I'll stop there and hope for the best. My job there at the bottom is to ensure that I got my left knee shield inside that space, which Zennon has just passed. So once he's past my left knee, you can see now he's got like almost a guard pass, and there he's got the full guard pass. So it's all incremental, and it all started with me losing my knee shield, him gaining better control of my top half of my torso, and now he's stuffed his right knee into my belly area to prevent any further self-defense from my perspective. To give you guys an idea of what the strategy of what's going on there with guard passing. bit of a spin out of it, and right into a omoplata, which Zennon got out of. You might see a good belly shot of me here. But yeah, what you saw there was basically a scramble that got me out of that position. And then it went into the omoplata, and now I'm in side control, which is very typical for Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu is like a couple of stalemate positions, locks, followed by an intense, fast-paced scramble, and then back into locks, and then rinse and repeat. That's Jiu-Jitsu. So a lot of it comes actually down to those scrambles. It comes down to what happens in those scrambles, how fast you react, what you react with, and then that relates into how you end up in that locked position, whether or not you're in a good position or a better position or a worse position. In Zennon's case here, it became a worse position. Jiu-Jitsu says, you need your speed, technique, and strength. All those three components come into effect during that scramble. There's no particular one that's more important than the other. All three are engaged. In certain other parts of the game, definitely some are more outweighed than others. Some parts you need explosive strength. Other parts you need technique. And other times you need speed. But definitely during a transition period, you're going to need all three. Just a little detail, as you can see, my ankles were closely tied in to under Zennon's butt.
You gave me the
Not
class.
anymore, but they were. A little detail you want to ensure you have, so that he doesn't get his foot under your foot and pulls it out for the escape. Here I ended up getting the arm in triangle, I think. I wasn't watching clearly, I was looking at the legs.
I think you've restored my, not even restored, activated my, I watch your phone, you're almost stepping on
Water break.
You've activated the nogi
Guys,
fun
if
for
you
me.
haven't already signed up
I think it was
for
fun for me
an
way back in
Oracle
the day.
Sorry, an OracleLife membership.
When I first
and
started.
you're interested, by all means,
But I was
click
never
on the link
particularly
below
good at it.
and
Not even saying that I'm good
grab
now.
a membership.
I'm
What
seeing
it basically does, it gives you
the fun that I
access to
used to
more
have.
content. As this channel gets built out a little bit more, you're going to see more and more content and more division of content from paid OracleTribe members and non-OracleTribe members. So we have another 28 minutes left. That last segment was about, I think, roughly 35, 38 minutes. We have another 28 to go. So again here, guys, this is all about distance managing. Zennon is trying to get past my legs, but I sort of was able to do an inversion sort of thing where I got my legs up and over and ultimately into this north-south mount. which is not typical. You usually don't really get this mount, but I think I'm pretty much thinking, what do I do from here? So, you know, there's the obvious one, which is a toe hold, and I think Zennon just tapped out to that one. So that's the most obvious sort of submission from there. Then goes for a single leg takedown, gets it. I'm playing reverse De La Hiva. I got my hooks in, butterfly hooks. Then I knows I'm going for the sweep, so he leans back to get his base heavy. I can't lift him. There's no Guyz, so I can't really grab anything. So it makes it definitely a little bit more challenging to lift an individual. So there you can see again, you know, what we're fighting for is that space. What guys from Straight Blast Gym called it border patrol. So that space in my belly area and Zennon's space in his front of his chest. Just think of it as like a square box or a basketball. You're trying to control that space. So that's what Zennon's trying to do by getting his head in there. I'm trying to prevent it by putting my knee in there. And as you can see, Zennon managed to win out on that one because he had it so deep. He had it such a low base. He had his head so low. He was effectively could act like a wedge. So that's why we do that, so that he can actually then further his position. There I tried a ghost escape, failed. I know I do get it later on. I think I get it, or I think I might have got it, can't remember right now, in the past episode, last couple ones ago, or it's coming up later in this particular one. But I do get it, and I'm quite happy because it's something that I've been trying to get for a little while from watching some videos from Coach Peterson from Teach Me Grappling. Great content. Shout out to the Teach Me Grappling guys and the coach. Great content from those guys. If you're not already familiar, I highly recommend going and check it out. One of the things that I've been working on from there was the ghost escape. Great escape from the bottom, side control. Hopefully I can show it off in the next one. You can see in the distance all those boats out there sailing back on October the 6th in gorgeous Toronto, Ontario. To the left you can see the islands, what we call our center islands. They're accessible via ferry. I got a sweep there. In the next few videos you'll see actually more windsurfers as the wind starts picking up.
Practically
Those crazy bastards come out and it's like,
it was so
you know, single digits.
My head was buzzing.
We'll get cold on the beach wearing
I got
Guyz,
too
you know, when it's like
you got
8 or
top
9
heavy
degrees.
at the end?
But those
But it was
guys
just
are
like by
in
millimeters.
the water, and the water is probably
Perfect
closer
timing,
to
man.
1 or
Fuck.
2 degrees, or
But
4 or 5
seriously,
degrees, whatever.
I thought
Cold
I was seeing
nonetheless.
stars at one point.
I
Give
was
it up to those
what I
guys.
wanted to do was trap the arm here
Yeah.
with this leg
Not sure
Yeah.
what we're
so
talking
that I
about
could
here. Maybe
drag
about
the other
how I
arm
got the,
over
sweep.
and switch. Maybe I
I
switch
couldn't
the
quite see it
staple.
exactly how I
Yeah,
got
and
that
then
sweep
step
either.
over.
Right.
Sorry, this leg first, the outside leg.
But it looked like
drag the
a
other
standard
arm over and then
bridge,
switch. I could
what
step
they
over
call a
and go
bridge.
for
Right. Right.
Kimura from
across the
side,
face.
or
Kimura or arm triangle? maybe?
arm or Kimura.
Yeah.
Can
from
result in a
side.
sweep.
Yeah. It was fucking tight. Even just the shoulder just.
But I was trying to like put pressure to just make you relax. I didn't want to move until you relax.
I wasn't gonna relax.
And you're not relaxing, so I was like,
because
okay, pressure, pressure, pressure until he relaxes.
I couldn't relax because I literally was gonna pass out, tap out. So I either had to tap, snap, or
Yeah.
pass, right? And because I've heard shoulder justice being pretty
Shoulder
good,
pressure is nasty.
but it's like, it's pretty deep. Like it
Yeah.
literally was an air choke.
Nice.
It was an air choke. Like I was seeing stars and I was ready to pass
Shit.
out. So it was close.
You can see
I was just
my
waiting for you to
elbows
relax
are
so I could do
already
some
in
of the
tight.
turns.
That's
As I
funny,
said
right? Because
before,
jiu-jitsu is like that.
value and
You're
importance
sort
of
of
keeping your
coaxing the
elbows
right
in.
reaction from someone,
When you're in
and you gotta know
someone's
what
guard like
your
that, you
opponent's
obviously
feeling. Like
Yeah.
you didn't know I was
want
ready to
be
pass
able
out.
to get out of
So
that
No,
you
not
guard.
at all.
you're
I thought
technic-
you were like
So
tense, ready to
the
explode.
one
Yeah.
approach
That's why I
to
was
it,
like,
And that was my
while
only
keeping your
option,
arms
but
safe,
you
is
actually
to
wanted me to
actually get
slow
your
down.
I wanted you to
tight,
relax.
Right, and
right on the
so
inside
this is
of
what I do.
these.
If I want someone to relax, I relax,
You relax.
because then it lets
Wedge
them
it
relax.
in
But
and
when you put on more
work your way
pressure on
out.
me, I had one or two options: tap or work
I'd
harder.
I'd say it's not the,
And I would
it's
close
one of
the
the,
tapping,
not the,
but I ended up
it's an
just
awkward
squeaking
sort
it
of
out.
position. I
So
can't
that's
put my
something
finger on it, but
important to remember.
Yeah.
during these moments where you're in guard, is the guard guy trying to get out of guard? Does he want to open up guard? Some guys just open up guard, right, and go, okay, let's get on with it. Other guys fight like hell to keep you in guard, but what is the point of that as well, right? If you're not going to do something from guard, what is the point of just locking someone in the guard? So I don't know what the answer is. If you have some ideas, throw them down in the comments. Sort of a semi-leg drag there. Got my knee past Zennon. I stepped over with my foot over his left thigh to get on the inside. And here I'm in no rush to advance my position as I'm already in a advantaged position. Zennon does a nice shrimp to try to create space. I take that space away by putting my foot back into his hip, into his belly, and then walk right over and get right on top, which Zennon allows me to. And I'm sitting down now on his torso, and now I've got like a combat-based position on him, looking to get his elbows in tight and high, pinned down with my knees. Zennon is not putting up too much of a fight. There he's trying to shrimp-ish out, getting me lower so that his legs can be more engaged and his arms are not trapped by my feet. I, on the other hand, will ride it out. This is all on Zennon to waste energy or use energy. Me, I don't have to. I can sort of ride it out. One of the advantages of being on top. Now I've got my right leg somewhere under him, I think, and that can't be very comfortable. I think Zennon's just tired. I basically pinned his left arm, over my thigh for effectively a Kimura submission. Zennon didn't really fight that one for whatever reason. So guys, we're in stage 2, modified stage 2. All the academies are physically closed as far as I know. There's some talk about how they might be able to remain open. There's talk that certain other groups of martial arts, aka Taekwondo, might be remaining opening. I mean, I know they don't obviously get in as close contact as Jiu-Jitsu does. I don't know. I don't know the answers. All I know is what I know, right? My academy's closed. I encourage my students on some of the things they can do virtually by themselves. I know a lot of academies don't have that flexibility. I mean, I do this sort of part-time. I don't rely as my sole source of income, so I get it. Having said that, I do offer my students, customers, viable alternative options to keep them healthy, to keep them active, engaged, right, through these times. And if you visit my website, go to alerts, you'll see some of my recommendations on the things you can do, all again in hopes of trying to keep you healthy and engaged and sane throughout these times. Because I know it's not hard. It's very difficult for everybody. not sure what I have here. I've got one leg on the bottom, sort of trying to get into a triangle situation. I'm attacking both of his arms, like as if I'm setting up a crucifix, using my legs for his left arm and using my arms for his right arm. I think here it looks like I'm abandoning it and going for your classical arm bar. I lose it, or sort of lose it, and then I still end up getting it. Again, guys, we're not going ballistic here. This is not Worlds. We're not going insane. It's just two guys, right? So we're not trying to hurt each other, and we're not trying to outdo or outprove one another. We're just trying to have some fun.
Ankle okay?
Huh? That's a bit of dry skin there. For a long time.
16 more minutes. Guys, make sure you go out to your local businesses, support your local economy, your local guys. They all need every dollar helps. Go out there, order takeout, take Zoom classes if there's Zoom classes offered. Whatever these guys are offering, right? Because, you know, we're trying to help each other stay afloat. The economy needs businesses. We need the flow of money. The money is like the blood in a system. It needs to keep moving. Otherwise, you get atrophy, you get sepsis, and, you know, all kinds of nasty stuff. Let's keep it moving, guys. Go and help the economy.
Okay. I was like, you're not gonna give me the slices?
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I think I got a
Honestly,
what do you
don't
call
feel
it?
anything.
Calf slicer in there?
That's
Not sure.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know what it does.
It could blow
I
out your
guess
knee.
that's what it feels like. It's just really tight here.
It's
and
bad
coming up,
because
it just feels weird. So I'm like,
your strongest muscle groups are attached to it,
yeah.
so they fight like fuck until it's too late, and it just, like a box of springs, it explodes.
And guys, talk to your academies. That stay in contact with them. Get on the chats and get on the Facebook pages.
But it was
You know,
fun because I wanted to
everyone
get the,
wants to know what's going on. You know, if you're a customer, if you're a student, if you're thinking about doing this, if you were doing this, you know, talk to your sensei, professor, coaches. Let them know how you're doing. Give them ideas if you're looking for ideas. You know, find out what options there are. Maybe you don't know that there's certain options, and you know, they might have things that you're not aware of. Here I'm just recreating what happened back there at the calf slicers. So
I had this, right?
we're trying to
And then you
rebuild what
get
actually
back.
happened.
You were down, then I had this.
Leg with a cross.
So what I'm
there was an option for a heel
looking to
hook.
do, I need to switch it
Maybe,
to this
maybe not,
side.
probably not.
And then I got
Not
the,
exactly a heel hook expert.
I'd have to lock it, I think, like this. There. I'm gonna do it lightly.
I think what we were talking about is how do you
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, whatever that's
control the
called.
legs
All the
from
TENET guys.
that calf slicer
Danaher,
attack.
that's all they do. You know, Ryan Hall tapped up BJ Penn.
And what I was trying to do is I was trying to get
Heel hook. That's
Zennon's leg across his body and across my body so that I
And
can
that's a
sort
good
of
point because
have the
I've got your legs
ankle,
trapped.
the
and the more you
the
fight it,
tough heel hook.
you expose your ankles because you're pushing. So it's a beautiful thing.
So as I was saying, yeah, do that. Talk to your coaches, talk to your academies, see what's going on, guys. Help support them. Every little bit counts. You know, keep your kids active. You know, if there's a sort of virtual class, get them in the virtual class. They'll have that constant contact with their coaches, which is important. Their progression will be maintained. All that sort of good stuff. Their health, their fitness, their mentality, all those good things will be maintained But in order for that to happen, you've got to get them enrolled in something, a virtual something. Zennon tried to stuff my knee as he is expected to, and I sort of doubled down and get flatter to try to get a hook in. And when I do that, Zennon tries to pass it. As is expected, I reset and get my opposite knee into the space, the cavity, to try to reset guard. And we are in the inverse position now. My right knee is now acting as the shield. You see my shoulders are not flat on the back. They're sort of on its side. This is more of an active role, an active position. Not on my back. I'm not just waiting for Zennon what to do. I mean, I am sort of waiting a little bit here, but it's an active positioning, meaning I've got active hooks in. I've got my left hook in. I've got my right shield. I've got grips across the back of his triceps. So there's options for me. So guys, I'll give you a little bit update on what's going on in Veda Hub. So what happened in the last few weeks is I discovered an old bug creeped up back again. Some of my TLDs or top level domain metrics were not displaying properly. So I'm unfortunately back to debugging mode. I have since tried a couple of different things. Going through modules, uninstalling modules, installing modules. Right now I've rolled back to an earlier date. This is all in testing, by the way, testing environment, not in production. I rolled it back to a version back from May, and my notes indicate that everything was working fine. So I'm hoping that that is in fact the case, and then if it's working, I'm going to work backwards to see what potentially might be the offending issue. I don't know what the hell that is, but that's where I'm at right now. I'm also looking to get back into a gig where I was last. Sheridan College is no more for whatever reasons. So I did have an interview this morning, actually, and yeah, we'll see what's going on. As I said, I do this part-time, and then I have gigs doing project management, development of software development. And I go through stints there to fill in the gap, make some money, and hopefully further the dream of jiu-jitsu and running my software business. So hopefully sometime later this week I will have another update as to what's going on with the software piece. And then short of that, if that doesn't work, I am at that point going to probably getting some of my developers to look at what my freelance developers, that is, to look at what some of those issues might be and finally get this fixed once and for all. Here you can see I've got my foots tucked in, as I mentioned earlier. Small detail. You tuck them in so that, well, one of them's super tucked in. It's right under his back. It can't be comfortable for Zennon. Again, I do this so that he can't get his ankles under and over my foot and then pull them out. I'm not sure if I'm trying to get a tap here from I think I did get the tap. I'm not sure exactly what kind of a grip I had, but
something crazy in here.
I think I was basically trying to do a
I didn't feel
death
like I could get
squeeze.
anywhere. I know you had really good
Really just,
underhooks.
I think I had an underhook.
Really
Was
working
all I
for
had,
you.
and I figured,
If I
well,
progress
can I
my-
just squeeze the hell and get a tap?
Put my alarm on.
I'll keep your daughter. The weird feeling when you want to put your kids outside.
Or do one.
You let me know, man.
Do one more. And I jump in the water.
You guys might be wondering why I get my foot on his hip. Several reasons for it. One is control. You're looking to engage. It helps you feel out distance of your opponent. I can pull his body so that pull him into me, and then my legs would shoot in for guard, full guard. Those are the reasons. Here you can see my left shin and knee, knee guard is effective. Zennon cannot get past. That's why he reached back to get to my leg. I don't know how long I can hold this. Traditionally, you do end up losing the guy on the bottom with this, because just over time you get tired and it's difficult to keep that shield in place. And here you can see I've lost the shield. But that's me. I mean, I think guys that are better at it are able to hold out a lot longer or do something from there. And for my watchers who are inexperienced in this space, if you have any questions, definitely let me know what they are and how I can sort of help you answer for you what things are and why we do things the way we do. And because once you've been in it for a while, you don't see the forest for the trees, and it all sort of blurs together. But if you have any particular questions, no matter how silly they are, let me know and I'll do my best to try to answer them. Zen here, I think, is going for the arm bar. He has stepped over and sat on the opposite side. It's got my arms sort of locked. I've locked my own arms to try and prevent it. Pretty sure I lose this one. He's trying to roll me over so that the body position is more conducive to an arm bar. That's why he grabbed my leg. Pretty sure he gets it. I mean, the defense for this is I will start walking to get out of it. Walking into the arm bar. And there is what I do to get out of it.
Oh, you take that little bit of leverage.
A lot of things in Jiu-Jitsu have this very fine, delicate balance of control to the point of neutrality, to the point of you've lost control. And that's the beautiful thing about Jiu-Jitsu, is that fine balance is what you're always trying to master and achieve, is to stay in that control position. And it's sometimes a game of like millimeters or quarter inches can make the biggest of difference. And it sounds finicky, but it's not. It's like when you develop high-end skills, you're able to feel and manage those quarter inches a lot better, to the point where you have control, superior control of your opponent. So I've stepped over Zennon's head here. I think I'm going to go for another triangle. inverted triangle. There, I put my right foot under his head, looking for the lock. So here I use my left arm and I reach down and I grab my own foot, my own right foot to get the lock in the triangle. That was the difference between success and failure. And now it's just a matter of, you know, got a lot of options. I can sit here, I can roll. I did roll. I don't usually get this position, so I'm not 100% sure of how to actually get the tap. All I know is that at some point it gets very uncomfortable for Zennon. So he tapped out there, and I forget what I tried to do.
Yeah.
I think what I tried to do is get his body in vertical alignment with me, with my body, so that I could apply more torque to
We're working on
bending
that
of his
for
neck.
a while now, but
Yeah,
north-south
ultimately,
triangle.
I think that's what ended
I've
up
been able
happening.
to get it, really. You've escaped like numerous times, but today I was like, okay, slow down, logic, reach in, grab my own ankle, and boom, that was it. As soon as I grabbed my ankle, I was able to cinch it. You saw that, you obviously saw my hand coming in.
Yeah.
Guys, just over another minute left.
Rose, buddy.
I'll let the video play out. Thanks for joining us for another
Hopefully we get to
episode.
continue.
I hope you enjoyed
I'll
it.
let you know.
If you like it, definitely hit the like and subscribe
Yeah.
button, guys. Share with your friends.
Yeah, let's keep in touch, see what's going on.
Leave some comments
I think it all
below.
comes
Let
down
me know
to
what you think.
it's
You want to do? What do you want to see? What do you not want to see? What's going right? What's going wrong? Tell me about how you're doing in your
saying it's back
jiu-jitsu
to
path. What are you up to? Where do you live? I know we're obviously, a lot of us are under lockdown, but you know, how are you coping with all this? Share me your stories. I'd love to know what's going on with you. All right, guys. So thanks again, and hopefully we'll see you very shortly with episodes
Scenario is it's another
16 and 17. The next one is also a nogi, and then episode 17 is a gi versus no gi. I mentioned to you, I think it drops down to single digits here in Toronto. It gets quite cold. Zennon forgets his top, but he brings his top gi, but he brings his bottom pant gi. So he does half-half, and I do full gi because I'm freezing my ass off. And that provides for an interesting rule because Zennon gets his speed, and I lose my speed. So it makes it a bit more of a fair game, I suppose. All right, guys. Talk soon. Play safe. Play smart. We'll talk soon. All right. Bye-bye.